Welcome back to another Hearts of Iron 4 country template guide. Now, one of the biggest questions I was receiving is why is it taking so long for me to get these country template guides out, and the answer is actually quite simple. Before I did anything, I wanted to show you guys the results of using these templates, and pretty much really quick, I wanted to explain a defense on two of these templates that usually a lot of people disagree with. Now, as you can see over here in British Raj, we are pushing pretty well. A lot of those are these little artillery divisions right here. So I want to go ahead and show you guys really quick these two templates that are going to catch a lot of flack. First off is this marine template with an artillery icon. A lot of people normally think, oh, it's an artillery icon, that's not going to work. This has 50 org, almost 550 soft attack, and this thing pierces, well, not really pierces, but it will slash and pierce right through infantry like it's absolutely nothing. Then the other template I was going to go over is this artillery division, which has almost 600 soft attack and 120 breakthroughs. Some tank divisions don't even get this highest stats in the soft attack area. So those two, I just wanted to show what you can do later on really quick, since I'm about to show you guys the templates, what you can do later on if you're actually very smart with it. So anyway guys, let's go ahead and get into these templates. All these have been used in multiplayer and all have had very good results. I'm talking about some of these have gone up against inexperienced players, some of them have gone up against very experienced players, but I will explain how each one of them works in just a minute. Before we go too much further into this, I have given myself pretty much all the technology that a Japan player will be expected to have by about the time they're getting ready to go to war with the Allies or the United States in 1941. Now, this is the technology that I get usually on average in a multiplayer game by 1941 as Japan. So, well, except for industry and tech, obviously. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into these templates. First off, we have a very basic island garrison troop. Now, tonight, somebody was actually using my template against me and ended up failing over in British Malaya. Now, to anybody who's watching this, I want to point something out here. These island garrison templates, you're supposed to have at least usually 4, 5, maybe even 6 on a single port. The reason is because they have such high organization and defense that whenever 1 or 2 of them are going to get pushed, which is very likely if going up against 40 with Marines, you'll have 3 other divisions in reserve that's going to slowly wind down their org. And also if you're going to use these on land, like in British Malaya, this way, whenever they're in the naval combat, they're being attacked by the Marines or whatever, they will retreat, they'll regain their org, and then go back into battle and continue fighting over a long period of time. Usually what I'll do is for Okinawa, Iwo Jima, you know, all those kind of places, I'll have usually 5 or 6 of these island garrison templates minimum on those main islands that I want to protect. Next up is our main combat infantry. This is usually, actually this is supposed to be a 20 width. This is usually what I try to go ahead and have deployed by the time that we're getting ready to go to war with China. And this usually is a pretty good defensive unit, mainly for a line filler that you'll have. As you can see here, it's got pretty good stats. It has a decent amount of defense, you know, well actually a lot of defense, a decent amount of soft attack, and everything else. Next up is our 7-2. Now this 7-2 is what I will usually use if I don't have enough XP to get one of these artillery divisions. This is what I'll try to get. As you can see, we have 273 soft attack and about 342 defense. Has engineer logistics, support artillery, then support rocket artillery, so we boost up our soft attack even more, along with the support AA, because if you're going to go in multiplayer, it seems as though the Soviets send air volunteers quite often now. So if that's a possibility, you might want to start throwing support AA in your templates. So this is a pretty good one to use for a frontline troop against British Raj or something along those lines, just as more of a defensive unit for filling the line. Next up, this is the unit I was able to use tonight in a game and actually ended up pushing China that had almost twice the divisions back. As you can see, we have 319 soft attack, but the whole reason this template goes together so well and has such good stats is because we have a decent amount of breakthrough, we've got decent defense, but this is just a 20 width division and we have 319 soft attack. That's usually about half of a 40 width medium tank division that's made for breaking through infantry usually. So if you don't have support rocket artillery, you can take that out, but that's going to take 42 soft attack away. The support artillery along with the support rocket artillery is what really brings it together, along with the logistics company. Now if you don't need support AA, I would go and throw a recon in there to boost your soft attack up even more, along with your org, which will help out a lot. So it's a pretty good template to use whenever you're going to have to push or anything along those lines. Now, once I got to war with British Raj, they were tonight in a multiplayer game, well, the multiplayer game I was in, They were defending the whole line up here, and I could barely push. The only division that was able to break them were these artillery divisions. Now, most people out there do say this is a joke template, nobody should ever use this. This is why it works, okay? Most people don't realize that even the ones that have thousands of hours in this game is the soft attack with this template is so high, and your org is almost 40. What'll end up happening is if you have 2 or 3 of these can push pretty much anything in the game unless you're behind a river or attacking into a fort. These can push pretty much almost anything that you will go up against, and you can even swap some of these guys out to mountaineers. That'll help out a lot, or whatever you want to. But this template is incredibly good for being able to break through infantry. If you're able to support enough of these for China, this will storm straight through any Chinese divisions you have to worry about or anything like that. In my opinion, this is probably one of the highest soft attack units you're able to get in Hearts of Iron 4 while still having a very decent amount of organization. Your HP is also incredibly high with this unit, so that's a bonus as well. Next up, because some Japan players do like the whole SPG and tank idea, I'm going to go and show you guys a couple SPG templates. Now, I'm going to prove a point here. Whenever you're doing SPGs as China or Japan, you should never really have to worry about doing this. You should never in the first place have to do this kind of thing. Really, the United States shouldn't be sending tanks to really anywhere in Asia. If you're in a legit multiplayer game, they won't do that. If you're in single player on historical mode, 99% of the time, they're not going to send tanks to British Malaya. They're not going to send tanks to the Dutch East Indies. The only people that are going to have to worry about American or Allied tanks is probably going to be over in Europe. So the armor is so low on here, the only reason it's there is just to add some armor. So there's not a reason to have a light tank in most of these templates because your armor drops by only 2 by getting rid of it. Then if you add another motorized, your org goes up 5, you only lose 6 soft attacks. So something like this for SPG kind of variants works great. Next up is our Super SPG template. Now this thing has a 541.8 soft attack. Now this is actually pretty expensive, but you do have some armor on here, so as long as the Chinese player, which really shouldn't be using this against Chinese player, if you've gotten to this extent of the China war, you should easily be able to push with infantry if you're able to make something like this. But the whole idea of this template is so good. With the soft attack and everything, it's only made for going up against infantry type of templates. But the reason it's mainly so good is because it has a huge defense stat. It's got really good org, well 30 plus, and then it's got 541 soft attack, which is pretty massive. Then finally, we're going to talk about our 2 marine templates. Now, like I was saying, a lot of people make jokes about some of these templates because they think, oh, it's ridiculous, this will never work, oh, there's an artillery picture on it or whatever. If you're going to have Marines, the whole purpose of the Marines is to invade somewhere. If you don't have enough soft attack to break through enemy infantry in a port, there's no reason to have the Marines in the first place. So it doesn't matter if there's an artillery picture there or not, it's what's in the stats. And as you can see by these stats, they are massive. We have 319 soft attack along with a whopping 37 org for a Marine offensive infantry unit. Now, again, the whole thing that's bringing a lot of this stuff together is this support rocket artillery. If we were to get rid of this, that would take about 42 soft attack away. So that's why these are able to push through so easily. They also increase the breakthrough a decent amount. Wrong one. They also increase the breakthrough by only about 4. You know, everything else is okay. The org will go up some, but in my opinion, adding that extra support rocket artillery in there is a great bonus to this template. Really, if you're going to use this, you should probably have at least 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 of them attacking in a certain zone. Now for our very last template here, which is what I was again using tonight in a multiplayer game, and this is what invaded and took over British Malaya, this massive beast right here. As you can see, we have 491 soft attack. I think my template I made tonight was a little bit more soft attack intense because the Allies were really working on defending British Malaya. So I had to like take a couple of these Marines out and add some more artillery. But as you can see here, we have 50 organization with a 40 width Marine template that's supposed to be on the offense. We have 500 defense, and we have support AA, support rocket artillery. This is a huge, huge template here. As you can see, for amphibious attacks, we have 43%, and this is just with the first Marine upgrade. There is no extra upgrades. So anyway, guys, that is pretty much the templates I want to show you guys. But before I go, remember, if using island garrisons, make sure there's at least 5 or 6 of them being used on a single island. These main combat infantry templates are made for line fillers. These 7.2s are made to really do some attacking if you have to. These artillery battalions are made to go against China, especially if it's a player early on. And then this one here, if it's a really good player and you're going to war late, this will go through them very easily, honestly. If you get rid of the penalties, you'll be able to go straight through them with this. Anyway, guys, go ahead down there and let me know any other countries that you guys would like to see for templates in Hearts of Iron 4. I do read all the comments down there, so if you guys have any opinions or any recommendations, let me know and I will check into it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Stay awesome.